I'm Vern Stenman. I'm the president and one of the owners of Madison Pro Soccer. Thank you so much for coming out tonight on what we think is a momentous occasion as we announce the future of Madison's first ever professional soccer team here that will be calling Breese Stevens Field starting in March of 2019. I want to talk a little bit about how we got here today. This is a facility we've been running for a couple years in partnership with the city of Madison. We lease it from the city. About a year ago, we started the discussion about the possibility of bringing professional soccer to the community. Everybody that we talked to, from our most vocal critics to the people that loved us the most and knew us from the Madison Mallard, said, we love the idea of professional soccer. Madison is a soccer town. Madison is a great liberal community where soccer does great at, and this is going to be an outstanding home for Madison professional soccer. I think that Breese Stevens Field really drove our interest in making this all happen. You know, from day one, I think we understood that the best long-term potential use for Breese Stevens Field was professional soccer. And it was a little bit of a long path to get here, to figure it out, to understand what we had to do from a facility perspective and get the city to partner with us to understand and support what needed to happen from an improvement perspective to get here. I got to say thank you so much to Alder Liddell Zellers, TLNA neighborhood president Patty Prime, and so many other people that gave us their perspective on the future of Breese Stevens Field and helped us find an amazing compromise to be able to get here and talk to you guys here tonight. One person I love talking about too is Otto Gephardt, the owner of the Galaxy Apartments and other developments in this area. The day I met him, he said, this has to become Wrigleyville in this area around Breese Stevens Field. We need somebody to deliver the Wrigley part of Wrigleyville. And I said, I'm your guy. And we had to figure out what that meant. And obviously our pursuit of pro soccer, I think, is going to be what we think is as Breese Stevens Field gets close to 100 years old, we feel very confident that its best use and its best future and the most exciting time for the entire community around us is in front of us today. And I think as we kind of get into previewing things, one of the cool things that I think you're going to learn, if you don't already know, I bet a lot of you guys are here are soccer fans, but there's this great culture in soccer about how fans interact with the game, and it's really led by a group, of supporters. The supporter section that leads the crowd in chants, leads the crowd in their excitement, sometimes lights off smoke bombs, I think. And we're honored to have a couple guys here tonight. And I want to roll into a little promotional video.
That's a huge save! Shot! Save! It's Drogba at his best. Wow! Still free to shot! And a goal!
From the USL D3 here in a moment, and we've been working with these guys for probably almost over a year now, I think, in the pursuit of getting to this event here today. Today I asked them, I said, is there a venue in your league? Keep in mind that they have, a lot of teams that are members of their leagues. I don't know the exact number. Steven can give me that number in a second. But is there a venue that you guys have that has the experience and has the environment, has the surrounding space like Breese Stevens Field has, and has the beautiful rooftop decks and apartments and great restaurants and bars and the environment that exists here. And they said, you know, not that we can really think of. This is kind of the vision of the future of soccer, and we're so fortunate to have this facility here. And with that in mind, I want to introduce the Senior Vice President of USL D3, Mr. Stephen Short.
Wow, what a crowd. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today, and thank you for the amazing weather in Madison. It beats the rain in Florida, so thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out first and foremost. This isn't an overnight venture by any means. Bird mentioned it earlier, where this is more than a year, and for USL to Division III level, it's more than 2.5 to 3 years of planning, looking at cities, finding the right ownership, finding the right supporter groups and communities to really support the game, grow the game, and also finding the right venues. It's hard to believe Breese Stevens is almost 100 years old, because it certainly doesn't look it. When we visited Madison, there were several things we always look for in an expansion market, and they were all here. There was a strong community of business leaders. There was strong leaders in organization and sports, but there's also a strong culture of the game. And we see that whether it's at University of Wisconsin-Madison, at Madison College. You've seen great runs in the NCAA. We've seen several guys taken last year in the MLS Super Draft. In the first round and the third round, you had the 2017 NWSL #1 overall draft pick in 2017, and you have a great club scene. So we know that the soccer culture is here, and we know it's going to continue to grow, and this is going to give you a team of your own, not something several hours away to support. So we expect a lot of Madison and a lot of support in the near future. The league continues to grow, and as we focus on USL Division III, we focus a lot on the profession of the game, the passion of the fans, and the proven model. We're building that on the existing USL model at Division II that has 33 teams throughout North America, with another 8 to 9 already in the stable ready to come into the league. And that league is actually about to approach the 3 million in attendance mark this year. So it continues to grow the game in markets across the country, even those that haven't had professional soccer before. And while I know you don't really worry about hearing from me, you want to hear from the ownership, now's the fun part for the league, that we actually get to award the franchise in Madison, and you get to begin building your own pro soccer team and the culture moving forward. So if the ownership of Madison Pro Soccer would join me on stage again and in front of the podium. Gentlemen, we'll start handing these to you if you'll hand those out. Hand those, Steve. I'm going to come around with you, Vern. The year starts. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome Madison to USL Division III, the USL family. Let's look forward to a great season next year.
Good. All right.
Thank you, Stephen, for making us the fourth and one of the founding members of the USL D3. We couldn't be more excited to bring the product here to Madison. I think next I'm going to talk a little bit about the stadium and what's going to be happening at the Breese Stevens Field in the future. So if we could get some shots up, we've got a couple renderings here that you may not be able to see perfectly of the stadium, and I'll kind of give you a little quick visual tour of what we're going to be up to. The city's going to be building a new concession stand in the west end zone, kind of in front of the covered grandstand at field level. It'll be a 4,500 square foot building, full licensable kitchen. We've never had a licensed full-time kitchen in Breese Stevens Field for our first 2.5 years of operation. That'll break ground in October of this year and take up a lot of the dead space behind the end zone. And then the plan in the future is to hopefully build a rooftop seating deck on top of it that'll interact back into the covered grandstand, providing great sight lines from the entire historic structure towards Patterson Street. The northern side of that bleacher over there is going to become bleacher seats. Actually, the structure, as you may be able to tell, is not finished. It doesn't have seating in it right now. We're going to finish seating there, have a really cool hospitality area in the middle, and then we're going to have kind of a drink rail and bar stool area on the left-hand side. You know, I think one of the more important sections, like I talked about, is this group of supporters, and thanks again for these guys for coming out tonight. as we looked at Breese Stevens Field, they never anticipated the type of use for this facility that we have coming in front of us that everyone agrees is going to be outstanding. And so, as you might know, we host concerts here. The stage goes in the east end zone, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in some high-end temporary or portable bleachers. They're going to be called a safe standing bleacher. And the interesting thing about our supporter friends, like they're doing right now, they're going to stand the entire game. They don't even get a seat in the section that they sit in, or stand in, I should say. And what we're going to do is build 1,000 spaces for a safe standing bleacher. And what that means is that in European soccer especially, this is becoming something that's very popular, and you're starting to see it come into American stadiums now as well. They typically put a guardrail in front of it because the supporters are kind of crazy, and you never know what they're going to do next. And so to make it Wisconsin style, though, we're going to put a drink rail on top of the guardrail, which I think will work for you guys, right? We're also going to be adding some hospitality spaces behind us here on the East Washington side of the stadium, and a handful of other upgrades related to PA system, related to player upgrades, and really ensuring that when we open this thing up in the spring of 2019, that our fans have an outstanding experience. This is going to be a facility that's going to be ready from day one, and it's going to be exciting and going to be something that I think the city of Madison will continue to be proud of as we go into the future. Next, I wanted to bring up someone that is a new partner to the Big Top, group. So, Big Top Baseball, basically has an interesting history. Steve Schmidt, furthest to my right, is the original and sole owner of the Madison Mallards baseball team. He gave me my first job here in Madison years ago, and we've built it into a partnership that includes ownership of baseball teams across the state. 5 years ago, Connor Kaloya came in as a partner in that group, in the ownership of teams across the state, and we've really been aggressively growing over the last 5 or 6 years, and we see soccer as the future of what we're going to do. And to help us accomplish, this goal for kind of a statewide vision that we have really for soccer, we're very honored to be able to include Jim Kazmarek as one of our owners. He's the owner of Capco Inc. In Grafton, Wisconsin. He's also the owner of the Lakeshore Chinooks in the North Woods League, and he's a minority partner in the Milwaukee Bucks. He's been an outstanding guy. We've gotten to know him through the North Woods League, and gotten to know him even better in the last year as we've been pursuing this common vision that we have for soccer. And I want to bring Jim up to say a few words about his background, himself, and his connection here to the city of Madison.
Well, the first thing I want to say is save me a place to stand in that supporter section, because that's where I'm going. I'm pretty proud and blessed to be here today, with all you guys. Madison is where it's kind of my second home. I am from the Milwaukee market, to be specific. Cedarburg is where I, born and raised and went to school. All my kids, 5 children, we all live in that particular area and have a business in Grafton right now predominantly, and it's up in Osceola near Twin Cities as well. But Madison truly and honestly is my second home. I went to college here, got in a little trouble here, had some fun here, and named my third child Madison, and have a lot of connectivity to this place and feel lots of fondness to being part of the Madison community from a distance. So it truly is a blessing to be a part of it. These gentlemen here are, really rock stars. I mean, they've been working at this for an extended period of time, and we connected, like he said, about a year back, and we talk about statewide soccer and launching in Madison and getting this thing done right, and that just resonates with all of us. Trying to do the right things for the community at large and making an impact on people's lives, and that's what we intend to do here at the Madison Soccer. With the great USL teams, we're gonna focus really carefully on our fan base and what's important and what kind of fun you want to have, and really that supporters group. We're looking to you guys specifically to really mentor us at times and teach us what's important in this game and the heritage, and we'll stay true to that the best we can. We really do want to make this, and it's just not speak. We really do want to try to make this Madison's team, not some ownership group. You won't see much of us unless you're in the supporters group having a beer at the bar with us. This is your team, our team, and that's really what we're going to work really hard to get done. There's really nothing else You can look up a lot of the other stuff I'm involved in, but right now I couldn't be more fired up to be involved with Madison and the USL and the soccer program. So thanks for letting me be a part of it.
All right. So next, I get to introduce another person who started out with us as an intern back in the year 2003 with the Madison Mallards. And he was a 20-year-old intern. I was a 23-year-old, 24-year-old maybe GM of a baseball team. Neither of us knew what we were doing. Both of us really thought we knew what we were doing. And I think starting 15 years ago, we had pretty strong arguments and feelings about how this thing was going to go, and we're still arguing about it today. We're like an old married couple, I think, in some ways. But over the years, I think Connor, has gone out and done some amazing things. I think he's really developed into one of the more interesting and one of the brighter sports minds in the entire country. And so much of what we're doing as a company right now is really specifically because of Connor's vision and his attention to detail and his ability to help lead this team. And so I want to bring Connor up to say a few words as well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys, and thank you, Vern. Vern's right. We've been arguing for 15 years, but there's not any other person in this world that I want as my business partner other than Vern Stedman. We got a pretty cool thing going, and we can't be happier to be doing the next thing we're doing here now in Madison. I want to say just a couple things real quick. One, first of all, I want to thank the Middleton and Madison East High School women's soccer teams. They're allowing us to use their field for a half hour. They've actually pushed back the start of their game. We're excited to have them here. We're excited to see their game following our event. And I think the idea of this event taking place right before a high school soccer game kind of epitomizes everything we're trying to do here with Madison Pro Soccer and with Breese Stevens Field. This is a community facility, and we want the community to really make this facility what they want it to be. In our vision, what we want to do over the next 20 years and beyond for pro soccer here in Madison is make it the community's team, and you kind of tell us what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, and we want to be something that you're proud of. Now, our group been fortunate to have a great partnership and 4 teams across the state. We've sold a lot of tickets. We've sold a lot of sponsorships. We think we've got a good handle on food and beverage and events. But as we started to get into soccer, there was a piece that we thought we were missing. And that piece we thought we were missing was that soccer knowledge in that soccer culture. And as we looked at potential candidates to help join our team and really spearhead what we're doing here at Breese, it became pretty clear to us there's only one candidate that we should consider. And no one in the history of anywhere has started more professional soccer franchises than Peter Wilt. Peter Wilt was the original GM and president of the Chicago Fire, led them to a MLS Cup and an Open Cup in 1998. Most recently, he led Indy 11 when they became the first pro team in the United States to sell out every home game in their inaugural season. Over 7,000 season ticket holders, more than 10,000 fans a night. And as we launch our product here, we couldn't be more excited, first of all, to join the USL 3rd Division, but to have Peter Wilt leading the charge for us. I'd like to introduce Peter Wilt to the stage.
Madison, 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 Madison. You guys are crazy. Thank you very much, Connor. Thank you, Vern. This is amazing. The supporters, in a couple of days, put this together for you guys to come out here. I really appreciate it. I look forward to the ride. It's going to be tremendous. USL, Justin and Steven, you've built an amazing business, an amazing soccer product as well. And we're very fortunate to have USL Soccer coming to Madison. Also want to make sure to thank the city of Madison, Mayor Soglin, and the entire city council for their approval and their vision to see this stadium improved. I've been driving by Washington Avenue for on and off for 30 or 40 years, looking at that limestone wall, thinking, wow, there's something really cool behind there. I would occasionally stop, but the gates were always locked and there was nothing going on inside. But now, thanks to the folks at Big Top and the vision of the city leaders, there's something going on. I'd also like to thank and welcome certain folks who have been very supportive early on of this effort and will be keys going forward. The Wisconsin Youth Soccer Association and President Chris Lacey, the Madison Area Youth Soccer Association Executive Director Chris Lay, and a couple of Badger legends. A couple minutes ago, I saw them over there talking to each other. One is Jim Launder. Coach Launder led the Badgers to the 1995 NCAA Men's Soccer Championship. And now the current head coach of your Wisconsin Badgers men's soccer team, John Trask. And another friendly face in the crowd, the Director of Business Development for the USL, an old friend of mine who helped me win my first MLS championship ring in 1998, Josh Keller. Josh did the work on the field. I had the easy part in the front office. A little bit of a quick history on soccer in Wisconsin and getting quickly up to today and where we are. People probably don't know this, but the first soccer game ever played in the United States was played right here in Wisconsin. It was in 1866, about an hour east of us in Waukesha. And then about 130 years later, Coach Launder's Badger team won the NCAA championship. In between that, the Madison 56ers started up in 1956 and have gone on to dozens of state championships and have won some national championships and have really created a great foundation for the sport. It's been at an amateur level. What we have now for the first time in Wisconsin in 15 years is professional outdoor soccer. And there's a bright future for the sport now for a number of reasons. Certainly this beautiful venue is important, the location and proximity to downtown, and it's also the way it's going to be built. You've heard it from Jim, you've heard it from Vern and Connor. We're building this from the bottom up. It's broad base of support. We're building it with the community, social organizations, sporting organizations, charitable, civic, business. It's going to be Madison's team. It's the world's game, but this will be Madison's team. I mean, this is a sport, it's made for Madison. It's supported by young adults. Millennial audience is key, of course, soccer families and new Americans. And it represents Madison well. It's a tribal sport. Fans are passionate. They care about it. They care because the team on the field is representing the community. When we're doing battle with another city's team, it's an athletic competition to win and prove superiority for Madison. And it's a live opportunity for that. In the last dozen or so years, the support of professional soccer in America and on a micro level in Madison has grown exponentially. The support for international clubs, EPL clubs in particular, we have leadership here from supporters clubs for Arsenal, for Manchester United, for Liverpool, for Chelsea, for Spurs, and they all have their clubs and they love their clubs. But there's nothing like supporting your own local club in Madison. So with that in mind, together we will seek a name and colors for this club. Together we will build the club. Together, we will make this club known and respected throughout the land. Together, we will live Wisconsin's motto through this club. Forward.
How about that, Peter Wilt? All right. Well, a couple of things just before we wrap up here. I want to say thank you to our staff. We've got a bunch of our staff from the Mallards, from Breese Stevens Field. Tyler Isham, Ava Jansen, Liz Kern is around. Monica Wagner, Ashley Klutwick work with us with the Madison Mallards. They're going to be a part of the soccer part of the world as well. Skylar Rush, a former Mallards employee, is going to be joining us on the soccer side as well. I'm forgetting somebody. Austin Hansen, Dylan. I see a lot of people back there. Macy Clute is up in the press box, I believe, is doing an outstanding job. Trig Shenander. Thank you guys so much for all of your effort. You guys have really made this day come together, and you guys are going to be a special part of what happens here in the future with this club. I'd also be remiss to say, if I didn't say, thank you to all of our families who are here tonight. You know, obviously, a huge portion of the reason that we do all the things that we do is that hopefully our families enjoy it and take the same pride in it that we do. And thank you guys for being here so much tonight. And I think, other than a couple little announcements, obviously we've got tickets for sale. You can put a deposit down if you'd like to. That you'll get a scarf tonight if you do that, if you didn't get one already. Certainly that'll be available. MadisonProSoccer.com, I believe, is live right now, so get out there and check that out for us today. And I think we're going to head down to the Nomad, and I think Cooper's maybe after that for a drink. We'd love to we'd love to have you join us down there. And I don't think I can say it as well as Peter did, but forward, Madison Pro Soccer. Can't wait to see you guys out here, March 2019. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Let's get this going.